Hi, thanks for joining me in the next video. As I promised, I have a story and then we're going to have a little discussion. Alrighty? The name of this story is called, the title is, It's Spring, Peterkin. This little guy's name is Peterkin and it looks like he has some animal friends. And I notice, those are daffodils. Those are pretty flowers that come popping up. And in the background are pretty trees with the pink blossoms. I don't know if you've noticed any of them around Floral Park. I've seen a few, and they're quite beautiful. It's Spring, Peterkin. And the author, the person who wrote this book, is Emily Boone. Let's see what Emily Boone has to say about the springtime. It was a beautiful spring day, and Peterkin was going to fly his kite. But just then, he saw his friends. Come quickly, they shouted to Peterkin. We have something to show you. I wonder what it could be. Oh, look at the ducklings, cried Peterkin. Is this what you wanted to show me? No, said his friends. Come, follow us. It wasn't the ducklings. On the other side of the meadow, Peterkin saw a sheep with her little lamb. Is this what you wanted to show me? He asked. No, Peterkin, they said. Please, hurry. This is what we wanted to show you, said his friends. A baby robin. Can you see that little teeny bird right there? A baby robin has fallen out of its nest. Can you help it? And look up here in the tree. Here's the nest. And it looks like this is the mom and the dad and some other little baby brothers and sisters. And they're looking down, all worried because their baby fell out of the nest. What do you think Peterkin's going to do? Do you think he's going to help those robins? Let's turn the page and find out. Peterkin climbed up the tree and very gently put the little robin back in its nest. Here's your baby, Peterkin told the mother and father robin, safe and sound. The robins sang, the flowers were in bloom, and Peterkin's kite sailed high in the sky. It really was spring. Flying a kite is something fun that you can do in the springtime because we've had some very breezy days lately, so they have been good kite flying days. Now I don't know if you noticed, but in this book it mentions the names of baby animals, and they're slightly different from what we call a grown-up animal. For instance, on this page, Peterkin wondered if his animal friends were talking about the ducklings. Now, the mama duck is called a duck, but we call the babies ducklings. So they have a little bit of a different name. Did you know that baby animals often have different names from the grown-up animals? You know that now. Let's see, I think there was another. All right, so what do we call this grown-up animal? We call it a sheep. But do you remember what Peterkin called the baby sheep? It's called a lamb. Lamb is a special name for a baby sheep. I think that's all in the story because the baby robin was just called a baby robin. It didn't have a special name. So not all animals have special names, only some of them do. And I have a little poster here that I wanted to show you so we could talk about some of the animals that have different names from their grown-up animals. I wonder if you know what kind of animal that is. He says, oink, oink, oink. Well, if you said pig, you would be absolutely right. His mom and dad are pigs. But do you know what we call little baby pigs? They're called piglets. Can you say that word? Piglets. Good for you. I'm going to open up my poster and we'll see if there are any more animals in here that have different names. Oh, well, I'm going to show you this picture because we know all about these guys. Remember, Mary had a video streaming of do you remember what that animal was called? A chick, right. And remember on the video, the chicks first started out in an egg. Then they started to peck through, peck, make little holes, then cracked out of the eggs, and then we had 4 baby chicks. Do you know what the mom is called? The big, not the chick. What is the mom called? A chicken. So a chicken is the grown-up, or hen. Sometimes we call the girl chickens hens. And the baby is called a chick. Let's look on the other side of my poster and see what other kind of animals have different names. Do you know what kind of animal this is called? The grown-up is called a horse. I bet you guessed that. But did you know that a baby horse is called a foal? A foal. That's not a very common word, I don't think, that you've heard many times. Maybe since we live so close to Belmont Racetrack and maybe you've visited the paddock and you've gotten to see some of the horses, and maybe someone told you that name for a baby horse. But I know when I was little, I did not know that foal meant a baby horse, but there he is, a foal. Now let's look over here. Put it up a little bit more. What kind of animal is that? He says, moo. Did you say cow? You are absolutely right. Now, a baby cow has a very special name. He's called a calf. Can you say that word? Calf. A calf is a baby cow. You just learn all kinds of things, don't you? Alrighty. Here's another kind of animal. I forgot to mention that these are farm animals. There's lots of other animals, and the babies are born in the springtime. But this poster really just talks about farm animals. Do you know what kind of farm animal that is? It goes, meh, meh, meh. He's a goat. And a baby goat is called a kid. Did you ever hear that sometimes grown-ups call little children kids? They'll say, come on, kids, come on in, it's time to eat dinner. Baby goats are also called kids. So that's something new you might maybe have learned today. We call a baby goat a kid. And last but not least, this is one that was in the Peterkin story. His fur is very curly and soft. This is a... Did you say sheep? Good for you, my smart friends. This is a sheep. And sheep say, bah, bah. And do you remember in the story what Peterkin called the baby sheep? Do you remember? It's called a lamb. And when I was little, I remembered it because there was a song my mom used to sing to me called Mary Had a Little Lamb. So I always remembered that lambs are baby sheep. Now when we next meet, it's going to be Yoga Wednesday. So I'm probably not going to be talking about baby animals on Wednesday. But between now and Thursday when we have our Zoom call, if you think of any other animals that have different names when they're babies, maybe your mom and dad have some ideas that they could help you talk about. And then on Thursday, you can tell me if you know any other animals that have different kinds of names. I would be very interested to hear all your wonderful ideas. That's it for now. Thanks for joining me for a story and a little talk. And I will see you again on Yoga Wednesday. Be well, my friends. Bye.